Hi, everybody. It's Deanna with Tools of EnergyProtection.com, your energy shift advisor and Akashic Records expert. How's everybody doing tonight? We are on live here. It is April the 27th, 2021, and tonight we are going to be doing an Akashic Records reading live. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to bring our guest on tonight. She's going to be with us on audio and not visual. And then I'm going to talk about her question. And then I'm going to go live into the Akashic Records and see what we find. And then tell her what I find, help her build the story, and then clear those energies so that she can feel lighter, so she can feel brighter, if you will, and more free in her life. So, after we get done with the Akashic Records reading tonight, I'm going to talk about this new supermoon, the pink supermoon, and what it's doing for us, and then how it's helping us to feel. So, first, we'll do the live reading. And then we'll go over and talk about the pink supermoon. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask, about something going on for you, just post them right down here in the feed on our Facebook Live. So everybody hang on one second, and if I can get some thumbs up from you when I bring that person live so that I can know that you're hearing her, that will be fantastic. Okay, Polly, say hello to everybody tonight.
Hi.
Okay, let's see if we've got you going on live here where everybody can hear. If you can hear Polly, can you give me a thumbs up? Perfect. Okay, that everybody can hear her. All right. So tonight, um, Polly was talking to me about her question for the Akashic Records, and basically she wanted to know if there was anything in the records that could help her understand why she struggles between the physical 3D world and the spirit world. And I understand how she feels because, when we clear our energies or pray or manifest in the spirit world, it just comes so quickly, like 90 to nothing. But when we live in our 3D world, it takes us a while longer to walk forward into transition and change. So, Polly, welcome aboard tonight. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. All right. So, first thing I'm going to do in Akashic Records reading is I want to create a safe space to work. So, I'm going to connect in with Polly and her guides, and I'm going to connect in with God's Spirit or Source with my guides and all of us to each other. And I'm going to ask Spirit to bring forward the Akashic Records that contain her question that can give her some insight into how she's doing. Okay, and so at the current moment, not being able to bring the spirit and the physical world together, how does that affect you in your daily life?
Well, it's hard to describe. Um, Makes me question a lot. It's exhausting.
And how is it exhausting?
Um, when I dream, which is a lot, um, they're they're so deep. The dreams are so detailed, and a lot of times lately, I have found myself having to consciously, in the physical body, reach into the dream it's almost like sleep paralysis, but it isn't. But I've had to consciously reach into the dream to tell myself, hey, just sing something happy and it'll go away. Or, you know, pray, these different things. I have to tell myself what to do in the dream, and it stays with me.
And that makes sense because praying or singing to yourself changes a frequency. So that brings you to a little higher vibration. All right.
Okay.
So I'm asking Spirit which Akashic record is it that started what you're experiencing now? And I am getting a past life as opposed to a parallel life. And in the past life, we want to know what the energy is that's running, what's causing, like when you look on a phone and there's an app, it may not be active, but when you press it, it'll be active. So we're looking, if you will, for the app in your life. Uh, and I'm getting the word trauma and the word experience. So something that you around trauma or experience in a past life. And let's get a little bit more specific. So I'm asking what would bring us a little bit closer to that. So it's trauma around life meaning. So some sort of an experience. And I'm going to just guess because it's separating the spiritual and the physical world. I'm going to guess that this is going to have something to do with a spiritual life where you were a priest or priestess or something. So let's see if we can get a little bit closer. And
Okay.
I'm going to ask how many players we need. So how many people we need are three. So the first person, of course, will be you. And then we've got person X and person Y. And so uh, the person that you are in this past life is a sister. And we're going to find out a little bit more about what kind of a sister that you are.
I hope I was a good sister.
A good sister. All right. So the kind of sister that you are is a mother superior. Hey, that's really interesting.
Oh, wow.
A woman of the habit. No offense to the mother superiors watching me. So you get a mother superior. The second person is going to be a student nun.
Hmm.
And the third person is also a student nun. So you've got the top person, and then you've got somebody who's a student and just learning. All right, so in order to have a good story, we have to have a perpetrator.
Ah.
We're going to ask in this case who the perpetrator is. And we have two perpetrators. So anytime you're looking at an Akashic record, please remember one person uh, could be the windshield, one person's the bug. It's not that way in every lifetime.
I feel like the bug.
Well, in this case, I'm showing that the perpetrator was yourself and a student nun. So as I said, sometimes we're the windshield, sometimes we're the bug. But, but let's see what caused the for you to lash out or be angry at someone in that lifetime. And so I'm going to ask what it was that why you were chastising or hurting the other person. And I'm getting channeling and teaching. So, for those of you that don't know what channeling is, it's like what I do. You can either talk to spirits or might talk to a dead person, people not from here, and you're channeling that information. It's also tuning into a frequency, so you might be channeling healing energy. So, what we're going to do is look at so that your student nun was channeling. We're asking what you were doing, and you were also channeling, but you were teaching the channeling. So perhaps it's a student who wasn't connecting with the right spirits. If we're in the
Right.
God realm, we want to connect with good spirits. But what would happen if they connected with a demon?
Right.
Not so happy.
Exactly.
So then let's find out what form of harm came to you and the other person.
Okay.
Well, it looks like you duked it out because there was mental and physical harm.
There was in one dream. It was crazy.
Okay, so that matches your dream. Good. So I'm just making a note for those of you wondering what I'm doing. I'm making a note down here so I can get the whole story picture here. And then I want to know how you hurt each other. So I'm getting that you literally just had a pummeling, just kind of hit each other around. Nothing major as far as causing death or anything. So it was a disagreement between you and another nun. And with her being a student, she was probably just learning, and you'd been practicing for a while. And I'm going to, just for fun, I'm going to ask who you were connecting to and who she was connecting to. Okay, so she was actually connecting to entities. Mm-hmm. And let's find out what other kinds of fun stuff you two were up to. Okay, so I'm also getting that this gal, uh, the reason that this gal was having trouble is she was connecting to entities and also to what a nun would call a demonic force. So she
Wow.
so she had the ability to contact both the positive and the negative. And then I'm asking why it bothered you so much, and I get a discarnate in possession. And a discarnate is just a person who's no longer have a physical body. They're out of body. They're the body is carnate.
Right.
And so this being was actually in your energy field and guiding your thoughts. So whether the discarnate was positive or negative, or of the light, or of the devil, if you will, it didn't really matter. What mattered was is that this other person was able to wield the energy to talk to both the light and the dark, and a being that was in your energy field was instructing you to harm this other person.
And I have not told you about the dream, so this is really bizarre.
Can you tell us about the dream?
You're dead on.
What happened in the dream?
There were, I'll call them shadows, um, that there was a person there, and there were shadows that I had to make dissipate, make them disappear.
Right.
And that's when I came in, and because initially I was terrified. And that's when my conscious body was like, Polly, go in and just sing hymns, sing church songs, sing happy church songs, or pray, and they'll go away. And when I started doing that, you know how it was kind of just like a poof, like how you blow out a match and then there's the smoke,
Right.
and you blow in the smoke and it goes away.
Right.
Except it was faster. They just started disappearing.
Wow.
But they definitely had a very, very evil feel, very negative.
Very negative feeling to him.
Absolutely.
Wow. Cool. Well, I'm not glad that you had the experience, but I'm glad that the Akashic Record reading is right on the money. that's
Yeah.
that's awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for God's Spirit or Source to separate the lifetimes from the here and the now to then. And in the records, for each person involved, the sister, you, the two student nuns, and maybe the disembodied spirits, to make sure that their records are cleared and that they're sent on their way to the right and proper place in love, so they can continue their journey and stop dropping into your dreams.
That would be good.
So they're doing that now. You're going to write that in the records. And the important thing to know about Akashic Records is you can clear them, But if you do, then you don't leave the wisdom. So it's always important to go to the current book of the individual and put the wisdom in there, because the soul has a journey. And if it loses wisdom it gains in one lifetime, it may come back and go, oh, I haven't done that yet, but it already has. So we're going to clear that. Are you feeling any goose pimples or God bumps or Coca-Cola bubbles or anything?
There's kind of a, oh my goodness, how to describe this? It's it almost feels like when you're starting to fall asleep and you have that little comfortable tingle.
Nice.
That's about the only way I know to describe it.
Good. I like it.
It's weird.
Good weird or bad weird?
Good.
Good. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so I'm getting that record has absolutely been cleared, and I'm going to ask how much of a shift that you'll experience in your dreaming state, and I'm getting 100%. Yay!
I did just get a headache.
Okay, well, let's go and see what that's about. That might be a little side detour that we have to pick up in the records. Let's see what the records have to tell us for that.
Oh, man.
Okay, so that is fatigue, and also some depression.
Okay.
That's triggered. When we closed up that one lifetime, it triggered this one, so we'll ask for it to be undone and removed and replaced with love and uplifting energy. Put a little Fibonacci sequence on it. How's that feel?
It went into my jaw, but it's better from where it was.
Okay. So let's see. Go ahead.
It's not as bad in my jaw. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, so I'm picking up that in a parallel universe, in a past life, other dimension, in between lives, and into your present life, there was some additional trauma. So I'm going to ask them to go back in the record books and clear that energy.
Okay.
And then write the wisdom in your current book. Okay, how's that feeling?
It's gone. It's almost gone.
Good. So we're going to put a little bit
and
more.
There's a warmth replacing it.
Yay!
That is so bizarre.
That's awesome.
So I guess that's what's supposed to happen, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
And when I came on live tonight, I'm like, oh, I hope this goes good.
Here I'm going, I don't know if it's really bizarre. It's warm, and I still have the tingle just along my skin
Huh?
and my arms, and so it's cool.
Awesome. That's exactly the way a lot of folks describe a reading, the clearing, the feeling of the in their body. So that's awesome. I can tease you and say you're spot on. Oh my goodness.
I believe you have a troll that's jumped in.
Ah, gotcha. Can you get them for me, or I'll have to get them later?
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I did.
Cool. Thank you. Yep, I must be getting it to be really popular because this is the second troll I've had, so I must be making it.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. All right, any last questions before I go on? And then I'm going to talk to everybody about the pink moon.
now my mind's just kind of, that was crazy cool.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on with me and check in with me so I can let everybody know next week. Follow up how you were doing.
Okay, I will.
All right.
I will.
Thanks,
Thank you
Polly.
so much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, that was awesome and amazing, everybody. Thank you. Big hugs and kisses to Polly for coming on. I am so super stoked. That's the first time I have done Facebook Live having a special guest. So I'm going to do it again. That was amazing. And she got to feel everything. And the record reading was spot on. So that's fantastic. Um, so thank you so much, everybody. All right, now I would like to. Oops, hang on just a second. Now I got the wrong one up here. There we go. Got to turn my other one off so I can see you all's questions. Now, let's talk about the pink moon, and then I will take a few more questions from audience members. If you have one question about your Akashic records, I can do a couple of those real quick. And at this current moment, I'm going to um, I'm going to take a little drink of water, and then we're going to talk about this pink supermoon because there's a lot to talk about. So, can I get a thumbs up from those of you who have really been feeling it? If you are working on yourself, if you're working on developing yourself or healing your inner child, this pink supermoon came in and just gave you the energy you needed to finally release at last. And what I noticed was in my personal Facebook feed years ago, like 5, 6 years ago, I used to write every day, something about what was happening before I got this channel. And what I found is that things are repeating for me. So things that happened 7 years ago. So it's almost like the universe is cranking up and give you a little post test or pre test, I should say, about all kinds of things. And what I did was on the Facebook page here, they have popped up memories that how they did that for personal photos from how many ever years ago. Well, they actually doing that on the business pages now, which I think is fantastic. I was wondering when that was coming. And so the April 23rd, 2019, if you look down here in the Facebook feed, if you want to watch that one again, it's hysterical because it's talking about the same kind of thing, about the inner child and the growing and the letting go. And that was 3 years ago. So you might want to have a look at that. All right, I did see over here that several of you that have jumped on are super excited to talk about the pink supermoon. Okay, so for those of you that are working on yourself to release anger, to release fear, I'm going to go to my personal zone. I know quite a few of you are highly sensitive, empaths, star seeds, and you're the one you take on everybody else's energy and you feel it and you carry it and you give as much as you can and you're so drained, but oh, come on, I can take some more abuse. So, I'm a doormat, right? And my daughter's like, "You're so dramatic, mom." But it makes everybody laugh. Thumbs up if you were laughing or laughing face. Anyway, so what's happening is that this pink supermoon, all the planets up until yesterday were direct. So they're like on one side when we look up at the stars and weighted to one side. And remember, this year we have a malefic and a benefic planets, two of them together. And they're hooked in for this age of Aquarius. So you got the good guy and the bad guy, right? And so that's what astrology calls them. They're actually just really planets. But what it is the way they move the bioelectromagnetic frequency. And you get two equally paired magnetic frequent planets together, locked in place. And it's like two guys, like two sumo wrestlers walking around, or two boxers waiting to see who's going to make the first move. And so we've had the planets all on one side and waited to give us that energy to move forward, to feel that sense of urgency, to get going, to finally get off of our backsides, to let things go. And we've had that space for a while. And then you remember I did the power of your new story now, which I'm working on re releasing. I just finished filming it for private publication. And now I'm getting it up on my website so I can let you all know it's there and you can go, get that. And what's happened is that even though the door has closed on the biggest uplift to get behind us and moving in the right direction, any little step you've taken, okay, come closer, any little step you've taken in moving yourself forward and letting go of old poop is working. It's working. I'm so excited. It is working. So for me, there's been some things I wanted to clean up in my life and just get rid of, and were really bothering me. Just little things, and I've taken steps forward. Like I'm on my third week. This is so super exciting. I'm getting up in the morning and checking my pH balance first thing. So I get up out of bed, I read my affirmation cards so I can have my mindset for the day. Then I go to the kitchen and I test my pH. Why is that important? Because a body that's in pH balance will not allow disease to grow in it. So when your body is in alkaline, it will not allow disease in it because it's steady. And if you're acidic, like me, I love beef, I love coffee, so those both are high in acid, then your body's out of alignment and you get disease and all kinds of things. So as long as you're taking your vitamins and taking your nutrients and I have a protein powder that I take and I have a vitamin powder that I take that has a lot of stuff in it like copper and zinc and magnesium and stuff like that. Then your body's getting what it needs to move forward in life and in the bioelectromagnetic frequency. And I knew that. And I'd do it for a while and then I'd quit for a while and then I'd do it for a while and I'd quit for a while. Who out there can join me in that boat? Woohoo! Can I get a thumbs up or a comment? Woohoo! Who's in that boat where you do it for a while and you don't for a while? So, what I did was I decided I would track to see how good I was doing. And I put a little chart up, little teeny chart up on my refrigerator. And on my refrigerator, I put an X underneath each day that I got up and tested my pH and drank my water to start my day. And I'm on the third week. Right? It's just amazing. All right. Because used to I go like a couple days and then quit. But what you can track, what you can measure, you can do. And what's amazing is with the forces and the frequencies of these energies, the more I stepped up to the plate, I didn't just get up and test my pH in the morning. I made a chart and put it on my refrigerator. And it wasn't, ladies and gentlemen, a big chart. It's a little tiny piece of paper. You can get them, sometimes they hand them out for free, old school, when you go to somebody's office for insurance, and it's just a little pad about that big and it has magnet on the back of it and you stick it on your refrigerator and write whatever you want on it. Okay? Not rocket science. But the fact that I took that step forward and I did it daily and I made a point of it, these energies are supporting me to where now I'm like, oh my gosh, look, my pH is not in balance and I'm balancing it. I'm getting myself an alkaline. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have as much coffee. Maybe I shouldn't eat as much beef. Maybe I should do this. And all these maybes were thoughts coming up in my mind that were spirit telling me and supporting me and moving forward. It's like, okay, you're doing this, now do this, now do this. And so I'm 3 weeks down the line and I feel so incredibly fantastic being 3 weeks down this line. I mean, just, and I'm adding more to it as I go. That's momentum. That's absolutely momentum. And then I'm getting up and drinking, 16 fluid ounces of water to start my day. That's the momentum. That's the tiny momentum that I'm telling you that is okay to have. And I used to think, because I'm so hard on myself, that it had to be a big movement and you had to go for it and charge into battle, so to speak. And then you can't keep that momentum up and you're like, ooh. But it's the steadiness, step by step, day by day. And so, for those of you who have been participating in that over these last few weeks and you feel more triumphant, you feel better when you get up, you feel like things are changing, I want to send you out a big hug because you're doing it. You are doing it. And I'm so proud of each and every one of you. Big hugs and kisses, okay? Now, this pink supermoon is a charge. It's an uplift. It's a, when you play the video games, you get an extra little coin, and when you push on it, it gives you a supercharge forward. So, wherever you're directing your thoughts, wherever you're directing your momentum, you're going to be supported. Let me um, talk a little bit about the underside of that, and then we'll take questions. So, if you have an Akashic Records question, go ahead and put it down here in the feed, a private one, and I will answer like one question for each person that I can see in the feed down here. If you don't, that's okay. Um, but I have been working on healing my inner child. And you've heard me get on here and talk about narcissists and empaths, highly sensitive people, star seeds. And the reason I know that so well is because I had a narcissist in my life up close and personal. And their personality type and the way that their brain functions, let's just put it down to amazing. Uh, they, no matter how much you scream and yell and tell them they are hurting you, they don't get it. And they will never change. They can, but it takes a lot of work. And it takes a lot of inside work. And it takes a lot of looking within. And people will start down that road and they get so far and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to dredge up the past. I don't want to look back there. I kind of stuffed everything in a corner and I put a manhole on it, the manhole covers on it. And it's down there and it's weighted. I don't want to look at it." Well, that's okay because you'll experience life differently. You'll just be dragging a bag with you everywhere you go or a couple of big suitcases. But if you can make it, that's great. But my desired outcome was to serve all of you more, to build a website where you could take a class whenever you wanted. You didn't have to wait for me to form it, it'd already be there ready to go. And every time I set out to do it, I kept not being able to do it because of what was up here. How many of you out there have gone forward attempting to do something? You've learned about it, you know how to do it, maybe you bought the t shirt, so to speak, but you can't seem to get your momentum going. Can I get a thumbs up? I don't want to feel alone. you know, how many of you don't have compassion on yourself and you're hard on yourself? If I would have just done this or I could have done this better, rah, 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 and beating yourself up. It, can I get a couple more thumbs up? I want to, or a huggy, because just to feel support, because it's kind of scary talking about this stuff and coming out. Thank you. There's some more thumbs up. Thank you. It's scary coming out and talking about this, but it needs to be said. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for the love. Oh, I see it on my monitor. Thank you so much. Um, Thank you. I'm gonna cry because of that. But I've been tearing up most of the day because my inner child has some wounds that I didn't know about, and I have worked through therapy for a couple of years now with the narcissism, so I could put it aside and not make it part of my regular story. Oh, I'm getting more hugs. Thank you, thank you for that support. Oh my gosh, thank you very much. Anyway, oh that thank you. I accept the community love. Thank you. Whew. Okay, so one of my close girlfriends told me the other day, she goes, "Will you stop talking about it? Every time I hear you talk, you're talking about your narcissistic parent. Will you cut it out and not make that part of your story going forward?" And I loved her for that because I realized she was right. I mean, I'm okay to talk about it, to share with people, to help them heal because I've been there, done that. But I'm not okay with carrying it like a flag and saying, "This is who I am," right? This is who I used to be, and I can still relate to it and help you. That's where I desire to go. So I knew there was some work that needed to be done, and so I went into a meditation. And I found myself as a smaller person inside. And I said to myself, "Why are you hurting so bad? What's keeping you, beating yourself up inside?" so that we can come together and work on it and heal and move forward, which I understand is a gestalt type thing. But in my heart, I've been struggling with working on it. But what happened was when this pink supermoon came in, when the pink supermoon began to move forward yesterday, it gave me the momentum, the uplift, the insight, the empowerment that I needed to get over that hump of looking underneath. And this morning I had a beautiful meditation. I was able to connect within, and that within person told me what had happened to me years ago. And it had nothing to do with the narcissism. It was something else that had happened in my childhood. But that is the basis of what has been keeping me in check, so to speak, of moving forward into this beautiful dynamic world that we live in now and giving, excuse me, see, getting choked up, and giving to all of you the information I have so you can move forward. That's part of my job. So I'm so super excited. And that's why I'm sharing my personal story, because if you can relate to this in any way, shape, or form, and know that this is happening for you and things are bursting open or being shown to you, that's the reason for this pink supermoon. I mean, obviously it's the moon and regular moon cycle and, just normal. But that's the momentum now, in the here and now, April 27th, 2021. So grab onto it, jump on it, ride the wave. One of my other gals said it was a rib tide, but whatever it is, if that rip tide is pulling you out to the ocean of love and understanding and peace, then ride it, baby. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so oh, thank you. I'm getting a lot of hugs, a lot of heart hugs. Thank you so much. It's an amazing support from the community. I really appreciate it. So that's what the pink supermoon is about. It's about you, and I would like you to come closer and really super listen to me when I tell you this. Loving yourself is not selfish. Loving yourself should not cause a guilt trip with you because of your family. One young woman I was reading today, she says, I'm afraid to do the things to nurture myself because my husband throws a fit. So he works, she comes home, cares for the kids, cleans the house, cooks the meals, and she needs to take a little R&R out for herself at the evening time, ask him to put the kids to bed, and he has a fit and makes her feel guilty because she's not a good mom if she can't do all of that. Okay, really? So, if you have a spouse, I don't care if it's the man or the woman or two women or two dudes, you got a spouse that stays at home and takes care of the kids in the house 24/7, great, that's their job. But guess what? When you get done with your 9 to 5 gig, you get to come home. When they get done with their 9 to 5 gig, they're still living in it and they need a break. And that's called self love. So if they ask you for that, give it to them. And if you both work, take turns. Because self love is huge right now. It is not selfish. It is about learning to take care of yourself and not be a doormat. There was a point in my life where I would lay down, you could walk all over me, and then I'd turn myself over on the other side because there's a clean side and let you walk all over me again. Because I didn't know how to say no, and I didn't know how to draw safe boundaries. And I've been doing that for quite a while. And I'm drawing new boundaries with myself, because if you don't draw boundaries with yourself, which is self love, by the way, then you can't draw boundaries with other people. And that is also self love. If that is of interest to you, let me know because I can do a video on self love and drawing boundaries. That's no problem. We can do that. But anyway, I promised that I would answer a few questions. We're almost getting on an hour. I do try to keep these programs under an hour because I know people will go and watch for 20 minutes and go back. So that is what the pink moon is about. Yes, I use myself as an example, but I do it because I hope you can relate to it. The desired outcome is you can go, oh yes, I feel like that, and be okay with it. And just the major thing for the pink supermoon is self love, releasing toxic people, forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness for others. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to be walked over, by the way. You don't have to be walked over. Oh, I'm getting a lot of thumbs up and hearts. All right. It must be resonating with a lot of you. Thank you. All right. So, for those of you that don't resonate with the self love thing on the pink moon, look at what's happening at your work and career. Is it good or not for you? And also look at your income situation and your money situation. Is that good or not for you? Now, I will take one more question. I'm going to go down here and look in the feed, and I'm going to see if anybody does have a question that would like to have a little Akashic Records reading done. So I'm going to look through. Hello to everybody tonight. I love you bunches. May not call your names out one at a time. Let's see here. Okay, so Polly mentioned earlier that it looked like I had a troll. So it looks like that troll will be. I will deal with you, troll, later. I will come after you like I did the last one. And I might have to have somebody start watching with me if I'm going to get trolls. It also means I'm popular. Let's see here. Just ignore the trolls. Don't inbox anybody. They'll ask you for money and they'll want to do a reading. And, anyway, let's see here. Okay, it looks like I got Angie. Just a moment, Angie. Okay, she says I've been have reoccurring visions of a man beating me around my head. Then it's like I'm watching it. Why am I seeing it? Let's see here. So Angie, just know that what you're seeing is from a future life. Also happened in a past life. So it's a reoccurring theme. We'll ask for that to be cleared, and hopefully your dreams will dissipate. If not, you know how to get a hold of me. Um, Next person, it looks like Vanna. Vanna. Vanna, it just says you would like a reading, but you'll have to be a little bit more specific than that and ask me a question of some sort. So you can put that in the feed, and I'll be happy to answer that for you. And then it says, then Deborah asked me if there is an Akashic problem between myself and my daughter. Okay, Deborah, there will never be an Akashic problem because it's books. They're records of what you've learned and experienced. But let's ask a little bit differently. How many times have you and your daughter, Sydney, been in a similar lifetime where there's conflict between the two of you directly? And I get 5 lifetimes. The conflict centers around the security of love and affection. So if you can begin to work towards having a loving relationship with your daughter, that's what I would tell you from those records. And then there's another, okay, and then Kelly says, what is next for me? Oh, Kelly. All right, my dear, let's see what's next for you. So what I'm getting is next for you is more surrounding life meaning, the fulfillment of controlling your life meaning. So, and money. So I would ask you to think about what's in your heart. If you could do anything all day long and not have money as a concern, what would you do? What's your passion? Because that's what the records are showing, is that's what's coming up for you, is that passion and meaning and being able to control that. Life happens whether we participate or not, but being able to manifest or draw things towards you would be a good one for you to focus on. You're welcome, Deborah. So that's what I see for you, Kelly. Just life purpose, money, that kind of thing, bringing that together in a single focus. So I don't see any more questions. If you didn't get a reading tonight or you enjoyed the reading that we have, I would appreciate if you would go to Tools of energyprotection.com and click on contact. You can private message me here on Facebook, and I have an email address if you would like that. And let me know, if you have any other questions about a reading. I also have under products and services a coffee chat, which is an interview. So if you want to talk to me one on one and see if we're a fit, there's the coffee chats as well. It looks like I did get one more question that says, Lisa says, I feel like I have had several lifetimes with my oldest daughter dealing with power struggles. Okay, Lisa, you're welcome, Kelly. Lisa, if you're still on, can you give me a little thumbs up and I will see um, what's going on between you and your oldest daughter. If you could just let me know you're still on, Lisa. Your question popped up kind of late. Oh, there you go. Okay, great. So I'm going to ask how many lifetimes you and your oldest daughter have been in together. I get 41 lifetimes. And that says you have power struggles. And I'm getting 23 times that you had power struggles. They are centered mostly over the security of money, family life, the power struggles. Let's see what you struggle with over power. The power struggles are over perfectionism. So you see things one way and she sees things another, and you have very different ideas. And I just laugh because my daughter and I in certain areas are the same way. It's like we come together in a lot of places, but what we hold different, we have idealized concepts of the different things, and we're not going to budge. Oh, that's cute. Anyway, so I hope that answers your question, Lisa. I don't mean to laugh at your situation. It's just it strikes me as funny because people get in their ways and their ruts, and they see things only one way, and sometimes they're perfectionists and they're just hold on tight, and it's their way or the highway, and you get two people like that together, and you got to find a bridge. You're welcome, Lisa. She says thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Big hugs and kisses. If you want to come see me in Denver at For Heaven's Sakes Books, I'll be there on Thursday. Again, go to toolsofenergyprotection.com. You can click on sessions and find a place to register there if you want a session any other day than Thursday, because I do have other session times during the week available where we'll do it by phone, Zoom, or Skype. So, well, actually, phone or Zoom, no Skype. I don't know why that popped in my head. Anyway, have a great and wonderful night. Big hugs and kisses. Love you all. Thank you so much, Polly, for joining us, and we'll see you here next week.